In a small town, the court building stood tall and proud. It was a place where people came to find justice. Today, the courtroom was full of people waiting for a case to begin. Among them was a young rookie police officer named Jack. Jack had recently joined the police force. He was full of energy and wanted to prove himself. He believed that showing power was the best way to gain respect. Jack was proud of his uniform and his new position, but sometimes his pride made him act too quickly. Today, Jack was on duty at the court. A serious case was about to be heard, and the judge was none other than Judge Harris. Judge Harris was a black man, known for his calm and fair decisions. He had been a judge for many years and was respected by almost everyone in the town. As the court session began, Jack stood near the entrance, watching carefully. The lawyers spoke, witnesses gave their statements, and Judge Harris listened quietly. The atmosphere was tense, but controlled. Suddenly, Jack noticed something. A person in the courtroom was whispering loudly, disturbing others. Jack decided to step in. He walked towards the person and asked them to be quiet. His voice was sharp, and his tone was strict. The people in the room turned to look at him. Judge Harris looked at Jack calmly and said, "Officer, please handle the situation carefully. This is a courtroom, and respect is important." Jack felt a little annoyed. He thought, "I am the officer here. I should be the one to control things." Later, when the case started to get serious, Jack tried to show his authority again. A lawyer questioned a witness, and the witness seemed nervous. Jack thought the witness was lying and wanted to stop him. He stood up suddenly and said loudly, "This witness is not telling the truth. I demand you take action." The courtroom went silent. Everyone looked at Jack. Judge Harris raised his hand to calm the room. "Officer Jack," he said in a calm voice, "please remember, the court follows its own rules. We do not make judgments without evidence." Jack felt his face flush with anger. He wanted to say more but stopped. He looked at Judge Harris and saw no anger there, only calm and control. Jack thought, how can he stay so calm? Shouldn't he be angry that I challenged him? Judge Harris continued, "It is important to respect the process. We must be fair to everyone." Jack's heart raced. He felt challenged. He wanted to prove that he was right and that the judge should listen to him. As the case went on, Jack became more aggressive. He interrupted the proceedings and questioned the judge's decisions. People in the courtroom began to whisper among themselves. Some looked shocked. Others looked disappointed. Judge Harris did not lose his calm. He spoke clearly and firmly. "Officer Jack, your behavior is out of place in this courtroom. I ask you to respect this court and its process." Jack's pride was hurt. He stood his ground and replied, "I am only trying to keep order. If you don't listen to me, how can I do my job?" Judge Harris looked at Jack with understanding, but also with a serious tone. "Your job is important, officer, but so is respect. Authority is not about showing power loudly. It is about wisdom and patience." Jack felt a mix of anger and confusion. He was not used to being told this by anyone, especially not by a judge he had challenged. The courtroom session ended soon after. Jack left the room feeling restless. He walked outside and looked at the courthouse. The sun was setting, and the sky was a mix of orange and purple. He thought about Judge Harris's words, wisdom and patience. What does that really mean? Jack realized this was his first real test. He had to learn more than just rules and orders. He had to learn respect for the court, for others, and maybe for himself. But for now, he was still angry and confused. Would he accept Judge Harris's lesson, or would his pride push him further into conflict? As the courtroom emptied, people talked about the young officer and the judge. Some admired Judge Harris' calmness. Others wondered what would happen next. Jack's story was just beginning. The challenge was greater than he thought. And in the quiet town, the court was waiting for the next chapter to unfold. After that tense day in court, Jack, the young officer, felt troubled. He walked slowly to his small apartment. The city lights flickered as evening settled in. Jack's mind was full of questions. He kept thinking about Judge Harris' calm voice and wise words. Authority is not about showing power loudly. It is about wisdom and patience. Jack wasn't sure what that meant for him. He had always believed being strong and loud made people respect him. But now, he wasn't so sure. The next morning, Jack arrived at the police station early. He wanted to forget the courtroom incident. But his colleagues noticed something different about him. They saw the usual proud Jack, but also a hint of doubt in his eyes. At the station, Jack's captain called him to the office. "Jack," the captain said, "I heard what happened in court yesterday. You challenged the judge? That's serious." Jack nodded. "Yes, sir, but I was only trying to do my job." The captain sighed and leaned forward. "Jack, being a police officer isn't just about enforcing the law. It's about serving the community. Sometimes, that means knowing when to step back and listen." Jack looked down. The captain's words hit him hard. He was proud of his uniform and position, but maybe he had missed the bigger picture. Later that day, Jack went to the local library. He wanted to learn more about Judge Harris. He searched online and read stories about the judge's life. He found out that Judge Harris had worked hard all his life. He had faced many challenges, but he always stayed calm and fair. One story stood out. Judge Harris once helped a family in trouble, not by punishing them, but by understanding their problems and finding a peaceful solution. Jack realized this was the kind of respect Judge Harris earned, not by force, but by kindness and wisdom. Back at the station, Jack decided to change. He began to listen more and speak less. He helped people with patience instead of rushing to judge them. His attitude started to change, and people noticed. But not everyone was happy. Some officers thought Jack was weak now. They teased him, saying he was losing his edge. Jack ignored them. He had a new goal: to become a better officer, one who earned respect without yelling or forcing. One afternoon, Jack received a call from the courthouse. Judge Harris wanted to meet him. Jack felt nervous but curious. At the meeting, Judge Harris smiled kindly. "Jack, I see you are learning," the judge said. "Authority is a heavy responsibility. It's not a battle of power. It's about helping people find justice." Jack nodded. "I understand now. I want to do better." Judge Harris looked at him with respect. "Good. Remember, real strength comes from humility." Jack left the meeting feeling hopeful. He knew his journey was just beginning, but he was ready. As Jack walked out of the courthouse, the sun shone brightly. It felt like a new day for Jack, for the court, and for justice itself. Days passed since Jack met Judge Harris. Jack was trying hard to change. He listened more carefully to his team and to the people he served. But deep inside, Jack wondered if his new way would be strong enough. One morning, the police station received a call about a robbery nearby. Jack and his team rushed to the scene. When they arrived, the shop owner was shaking. He said the thief was dangerous and might still be inside the building. Jack's heart beat fast. This was his chance to prove himself, not by shouting or pushing, but by being calm and smart. Jack told his team, "We must be careful. Let's try to solve this without violence." His fellow officers looked doubtful. Some whispered, "He's soft now." Jack ignored them and carefully entered the shop. Inside, Jack saw the thief. A young man holding a small knife, frightened and desperate. The man looked ready to hurt anyone who came close. Jack spoke slowly and gently, "I'm here to help you. Nobody wants to hurt you." The man's eyes showed fear and pain. Jack remembered Judge Harris's words about understanding and humility. Jack kept talking quietly, listening to the man's story. The thief said he lost his job and had no food for his family. Jack knew this was a test, not only of his courage but of his new way of being an officer. He slowly stepped closer and said, "Let's find a better way together. Put down the knife, and I promise you won't be hurt." The man hesitated, then slowly dropped the knife. Jack called for backup and helped the man sit down. Later, at the station, Jack spoke with the thief and promised to help him find a job and support. His team was surprised. Some officers began to respect Jack's calm strength. News spread in the city about how Jack handled the robbery without violence. Judge Harris smiled when he heard the story. He knew Jack was learning the true meaning of authority. Jack felt proud, not because he won a fight, but because he saved a life. A few weeks after the robbery incident, Jack's new approach was making a quiet difference. More people in the neighborhood started trusting the police, but not everyone liked the change. Some officers still doubted Jack's methods. One day, a serious case came up. A powerful local businessman accused of breaking the law. The businessman was known for using his money and influence to get whatever he wanted. He didn't like Jack or Judge Harris. During a hearing, the businessman openly challenged the judge's decision. He spoke loudly, trying to intimidate the court. Jack was there, watching. He could feel the tension in the room. Suddenly, the businessman turned to Jack. "You think you can stand against me? You're just a rookie." The courtroom fell silent. All eyes were on Jack. Jack felt a surge of nervousness, but then he remembered Judge Harris's lessons: strength with humility, patience, and wisdom. He stood up calmly and said, "I am here to do my duty, with respect for the law and the people." The businessman laughed. "You? What can you do?" Jack didn't answer with anger. Instead, he showed proof, evidence collected carefully and fairly. Judge Harris nodded approvingly. The businessman's smirk faded. The judge ruled firmly against him. Outside the court, reporters surrounded Jack. He had stood his ground without anger, and the public was impressed. Jack realized this was a bigger fight, not just about law, but about respect and fairness. He knew the road ahead would be hard, but now he wasn't afraid. Judge Harris met Jack after the hearing. "You showed courage today," he said. "But remember, true courage is standing firm without using your kindness." Jack smiled, ready for whatever came next. After the courtroom victory, Jack's confidence grew, but he knew this was just the beginning. The real test was still ahead. One afternoon, Jack received a call about a tense situation at a local school. A group of students had been caught in a fight, and the principal wanted the police involved. When Jack arrived, the students were angry and scared. Jack remembered how Judge Harris believed in understanding people's problems instead of punishing them right away. He decided to talk to the students quietly, away from the crowd. He asked them why they were fighting. One student explained that they felt ignored and unfairly treated by the school staff. Jack listened carefully. He knew that without trust, no peace could be made. He promised the students he would speak with the principal and work to make things better. Later, Jack met the principal. He shared what he learned from the students and asked for a better way to handle their concerns. The principal was surprised but agreed to try. Word spread that Jack was not just a strict officer but someone who cared. Slowly, the students and the community began to trust him more. Meanwhile, Judge Harris kept watching Jack's progress. He saw that Jack was learning to balance authority with compassion. One day, the judge called Jack to his office. "Jack," he said, "you are becoming the kind of officer I hope to see. But remember, every decision you make affects many lives. Use your power wisely." Jack nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. That evening, Jack thought about his journey, from a proud rookie to a respected officer who listened and helped. He was ready for the future, no matter what challenges came. Months had passed since Jack's first challenge with Judge Harris. The small city was changing too. People started believing that the police could be fair and kind. One morning, the police department held a special meeting. Officers from all ranks gathered. Jack was called to the front. The chief of police spoke. "Today, we recognize Jack's courage and growth. He faced tough moments and showed what it means to be a true officer, brave, fair, and respectful." Jack felt a mix of pride and humility. The officers who once doubted him now looked at him with respect. But the real honor came next. Judge Harris entered the room, surprising everyone. He stood beside Jack. "Jack," the judge said, "you have shown that respect is earned, not demanded. You listened, you learned, and you changed. This is what leadership truly means." Jack looked at the judge, feeling grateful. He thought back to the first day in court when they had clashed. "Thank you, sir," Jack said softly. The room filled with applause. Later, Jack walked outside. He saw children playing in the park, neighbors talking without fear. The city felt safer. Jack understood now. True power was not in shouting or forcing, but in understanding, patience, and respect. As he looked up at the clear sky, Jack smiled. His journey was not just about proving himself. It was about becoming a better man, a better officer, and a true leader.